Greetings and welcome to the show, 5 Minutes of Well-Being with Vasilis, on Mental Wellness TV. Today we'll be talking about flirting, how to recognize true chemistry in a relationship and how to nurture it. We'll explore practical strategies and grounded solutions that support our mental well-being while building deeper, more authentic connections with others. In today's world, relationships play a crucial role in our emotional and mental health. The ability to connect meaningfully with others not only enriches our lives but also serves as a foundation for psychological stability and growth. Flirting, as a social and emotional behavior, often gets dismissed as trivial or superficial. However, it is far more than just playful banter or a temporary spark. It can be the very first step toward establishing emotional intimacy, trust, and genuine bonding. Recognizing when flirting is a sign of authentic chemistry rather than a fleeting impulse is vital for our emotional clarity and overall well-being. Chemistry in relationships is often described as an invisible force, a deep sense of connection, mutual understanding, and emotional synchrony that goes beyond surface-level attraction. According to recent psychological studies, over 60% of people report having experienced a powerful sense of chemistry with someone at least once in their lives, but only a fraction of those encounters result in lasting, meaningful relationships. This tells us that while chemistry is common, sustaining it and nurturing it into something real and stable is far less frequent. That's why our discussion today is not only relevant but essential. It helps us become more aware of our emotional patterns, sharpen our interpersonal instincts, and protect our mental wellness. One of the challenges we face is distinguishing between genuine chemistry and emotional projection. Sometimes, we project our desires, fantasies, or unmet needs onto someone, interpreting their presence as chemistry when in fact we are connecting with our own idealized version of them. In other cases, true chemistry does exist, but we lack the emotional tools to manage it, which can lead to miscommunication, anxiety, or even self-sabotage. When we begin to observe these patterns and understand them through the lens of psychological awareness, we give ourselves the opportunity to grow emotionally and relate more consciously. To improve this dynamic and enhance our mental wellness, we need a series of mindful strategies. First, we should cultivate emotional self-awareness. This means taking time to check in with our own feelings and understanding what we're actually experiencing when we feel attracted to someone. Is it a calm and curious connection, or a frantic need for validation? True chemistry is often accompanied by a sense of emotional safety and openness, not anxiety or pressure. Second, communication is key. We should engage with honesty and active listening, taking care to understand the other person's emotions, values, and intentions. When we communicate openly, we foster mutual respect and reduce the likelihood of misunderstanding. This clarity not only deepens the bond but also supports our mental well-being, as it reduces emotional confusion and creates space for trust. Third, pacing is everything. When we feel intense chemistry, it's tempting to dive headfirst into a relationship. However, taking time to get to know the other person, understanding their values and emotional landscape, helps us align more deeply. Rushing the process can result in emotional burnout or disappointment, especially if our expectations are not based on reality. Another important aspect is to maintain our own sense of identity and boundaries. In relationships marked by strong chemistry, it's easy to lose ourselves in the emotional intensity. But mental wellness thrives on balance. We should continue nurturing our personal goals, routines, and relationships outside of the romantic sphere. This balanced approach supports both partners and creates a more grounded, sustainable connection. To integrate these practices into our daily lives, we can start by keeping a short relationship journal. After interactions that feel meaningful or emotionally charged, we write a few sentences about how we felt, what we noticed, and any questions that came up for us. This small habit builds awareness over time and helps us distinguish between healthy attraction and emotionally reactive impulses. We can also practice daily mindfulness, even for 5 minutes, to reconnect with our bodies and emotions. Techniques such as body scanning or conscious breathing help us stay present and emotionally attuned. The more attuned we are to ourselves, the easier it becomes to recognize authentic chemistry when it arises, and to respond to it with clarity rather than confusion. There is growing scientific support for the psychological and neurological basis of chemistry. Studies in neuroscience show that when two people experience genuine emotional connection, their brainwaves often synchronize, especially in areas associated with empathy and emotional regulation. Research from institutions like Stanford and Harvard has also shown that oxytocin levels, the hormone associated with bonding, increase significantly during emotionally meaningful interactions, particularly those involving eye contact, vulnerability, and physical closeness. These findings affirm what many of us have felt intuitively, that chemistry is not just a fantasy, but a neurobiological reality that reflects deeper emotional processes. Furthermore, psychologists emphasize the importance of attachment styles in how we experience and interpret chemistry. For instance, those with secure attachment are more likely to experience chemistry as calm and mutually respectful, while those with anxious or avoidant tendencies might interpret chaotic emotional highs as signs of love. Becoming aware of our own attachment style and how it influences our perception of chemistry can be transformative for our mental health. It allows us to form more stable, authentic connections and reduces the emotional turbulence that often accompanies romantic interactions. In nurturing chemistry, we must also consider emotional reciprocity. True chemistry is not one-sided. It involves a mutual exchange of energy, attention, and care. We can ask ourselves, is the interest balanced? Do both people initiate contact, share emotions, and invest effort? Recognizing this reciprocity, or lack thereof, is essential for protecting our emotional well-being and avoiding relationships that are unbalanced or emotionally draining. To reinforce our inner emotional foundation, self-care is not just a luxury, but a necessity. By taking care of our mental, emotional, and physical health, we enter relationships from a place of wholeness rather than need. Practices like regular sleep, nourishing food, emotional journaling, therapy, and meaningful social connection all play a role in this process. When we feel centered within ourselves, we are less likely to be thrown off by emotional intensity and more likely to connect with others from a grounded, healthy place. At the same time, we must be gentle with ourselves. Exploring emotional connection and chemistry can be vulnerable territory. There will be times when we misread signals or get carried away by infatuation. These moments are not failures, they are opportunities for reflection and growth. By practicing self-compassion, we build resilience and support our ongoing mental wellness. We also want to acknowledge the role of cultural and social conditioning. Many of us have grown up with distorted ideas about romance, passion, and what chemistry is supposed to look like. Movies, songs, and social media often romanticize extreme emotions and dramatic gestures, leading us to confuse intensity with depth. As we mature emotionally, we come to understand that true chemistry can also be quiet, subtle, and deeply rooted in respect and emotional compatibility. This reframing is essential for developing healthier expectations and reducing anxiety or disillusionment in relationships. As we conclude today's topic, we want to leave you with a sense of hope and encouragement. Recognizing and nurturing true chemistry is not only possible, it's one of the most beautiful and enriching aspects of the human experience. By approaching it with awareness, compassion, and emotional maturity, we not only build better relationships but also support our own mental well-being. Every step we take toward emotional clarity and authentic connection is a step toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Here ends our presentation for today. We're so glad you joined us on 5 Minutes of Well-Being with Vasilis on Mental Wellness TV. If today's topic resonated with you, we warmly invite you to send us your thoughts, questions, or topics you'd like us to explore in future episodes. Your voice matters, and your needs will shape our upcoming content. Together, we aim to create a community of emotional support, self-awareness, and holistic well-being. If you'd like to take it a step deeper, feel free to explore our dedicated collections on our website, where you'll find tools, guides, and resources to help you navigate the world of relationships, self-awareness, and mental wellness with more depth and clarity. Until next time, remember that mental wellness is not a destination, it's a daily practice. We're here with you on this journey. Be kind to yourself, honor your emotions, and keep nurturing the connections that nourish your soul.